Oh, hello, and welcome to another podcast by Will Packaging. And today we are going to be talking about vacuum pouches. Something that I am very interested in and like talking about. And today we have Chris with us. So, hello, Chris.
Hello, everyone.
How you doing?
I'm very good. Yourself?
Yeah, enjoying this weather?
Yeah, it's glorious, isn't it? We get used to the sunshine.
We can, yeah. I've had to close the window for a little bit because it does get a bit noisy out there. So Chris is our sales account manager. A lot of you might have already spoken to him over the last year or so. Chris generally looks after our existing customers. So you're probably talking about vacuum pouches all the time, aren't you?
It's a daily question.
Excellent. So today we're going to cover quite a lot about vacuum pouches. We're going to talk about how they're made, the different sort of varieties that Wild can offer, talk a little bit about the accessories that can go with vacuum pouches, and also about the eco pouch as well. So exciting stuff, isn't it?
Very exciting.
Excellent. So, Chris, what sort of pouches do we currently offer at the moment?
So we offer a huge range of pouches, really. We do clear pouches, we do blue pouches, gold-backed and silver-backed. So we accommodate a huge range of sizes, colours and thicknesses.
Cool, okay. And what would you say is the most popular vacuum pouch at the moment?
I'd say our standard range of 65 and 70 clear is probably the most popular.
Yeah, and we have a huge stock holding of that, don't we?
We do. We have pallets and pallets and pallets of it.
And what types of customers are using, say, the clear pouches at the moment?
So we supply a multitude of markets, particularly fish processors, charcuterie, and meat processors will all be using those style of pouches.
Oh, fantastic. So obviously I know because I've been working here for years, but obviously we have a range of thicknesses, don't we? So obviously 65 is the standard, and then we go up to 90, and we can even go up to a 170, can't we?
Yes.
So at the moment we've got a few customers using a 170 micron, actually for biltong, don't we?
We do.
Excellent. And also we've got gold pouches. And who generally uses the gold pouches at the moment, Chris?
A lot of African food market customers will use gold.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've seen them around, obviously. And I know that they generally pack in things like dried fish and sort of herbs and spices, aren't they?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. And we've actually got a few customers using silver pouches, haven't we?
We do, yes.
Yeah. And what types of customers are they?
Again, we have a few built-on customers that use them, and also fish processors use
Fish
them.
processors as well. Yeah, I mean, the silver and gold ones are really for presentation, aren't they?
Oh, exactly. They look really good, high-quality products, so it really showcases the customer's final product well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, really, really popular actually. So I thought I would do something a little bit different today and talk a little bit about how vacuum pouches are made, because for us, they just come in a massive Arctic lorry every week. And they come in a nice box and a nice label, and they get shipped out to all of our lovely customers. So, do you know much about how they're made, or shall I just go ahead?
Yeah, if you want to go ahead and go through it all.
Fantastic. So, obviously, I've been at Wild for about 15 years, and over them years, I've learned so much about how our products are made. And I think it's so important that our customers know exactly what they're buying. So, I've obviously continued to sort of research and market and how these things are made, and it's really interesting actually. So vacuum pouches and a lot of plastic products are actually made from crude oil, that's extracted from the earth, and then what happens is it gets put into a huge furnace, and then the crude oil is actually heated to certain temperatures. So different materials can be made, like different plastics, depending on what temperature the crude oil is actually being heated at. So, for example, for vacuum pouches, and I've got a little cool diagram here. So, for vacuum pouches, when the crude oil is in the furnace and it's being distilled, it's actually heated to between 60 and 120 degrees. And what happens is it then creates a product called naphtha, which is basically plastic as we know it in the industry. I won't go too much more into detail about what other materials, and there's obviously petroleum gas and there's lubricating oils and things like that, all from crude oil. But we'll talk about vacuum pouches, so I'm not going to digress too much. So basically, after the crude oil has been distilled and it's created this naphtha material, what happens then is the material then goes into something called cracking, called thermal cracking. What this means is it basically breaks down that naphtha material into sort of smaller hydrocarbons. And I'm not going to bore all of you by going too much into it, but I'm going to go through it really quickly, I promise. So from there, the hydrocarbons are made. From that, they're extruded into long pipes of basically rods of plastic. And what happens then is that sort of rod is then chopped up into little pellets. Now, what happens then is the pellets are then go into the sort of extruders, as we know, our manufacturers who we buy from. From there, the pellets are heated up at very high temperature. And there's two different processes. So for more polythene products like polythene bags, carrier bags, they're extruded into sort of big balloons, into like a ring die. And you see them into these massive balloons. And then they're cooled very quickly and rolled onto big liners. From there, they go on to be made into various different things. But for vacuum pouches, they are put onto a flat sort of mould. The pellets get pushed through this mould, and then basically what happens is, imagine like a core goes around the core, and these are what we call, as we know, the master reels. So when we order from our manufacturers, the master reels are then slitted into whatever size we have ordered. So from our sort of manufacturer's point of view, they hold so many master reels of different widths, different colours. And the colourings are generally added after the little pellets are made. That's when the different colourings are added in to make blue or red or yellow, whatever colour they're making. And then from there, they can go onto a converting machine and be made into our pouches. So, like I said, I don't want to go into it too much detail, but it gives everyone a little bit of understanding on how vacuum pouches are made. So I think it's pretty cool, personally. So that's a little bit about that. So just going back to sort of from a customer point of view, Chris.
Yep.
When someone comes to us, a new inquiry, what sort of questions do you sort of get asked from our sort of customers in regards to vacuum pouches?
Okay, so we get asked a few questions. One of the main ones will be, are they food safe?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of our customers have certain compliance regulations that they have to adhere to.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll ask us if they're food safe, what regulations do our pouches comply to? They'll ask us questions such as, what is the oxygen permeability of the particular pouches? Because they're wanting to prolong the life of their end product as much as possible. And we'll also get asked questions such as, if the pouch is boilable, if so, what temperature can they be heated to? And also another question that we do get asked quite a lot is if they're able to be frozen. And again, what is the temperature that they need to be in order to do this?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So with the boilable pouches, they can be heated up to 121 degrees, can't they?
Yes.
That's excellent. And then we generally get asked if sometimes customers may only want to use like a thin, I would say 70 micron pouch. And we can offer a product called Bone Guard, can't we?
We can, yes.
Yeah.
The main that we can offer.
Excellent. So going back to vacuum pouches as sort of a raw material. So generally, our clear vacuum pouches are made from two different polymers. One is PA and one is PE. So PE is really good for sealing and sort of flexibility. And then the PA is like the oxygen barrier. Now, you've probably seen a few orders more recently where the actual product description has EVOH in it. Again, that's another material which basically means EVOH is a very, very good barrier against oxygen. And the types of customers and products that we are sort of aiming these products at are biltong and even like fish actually as well, and meat, because then you're actually, the barrier that the pouch is providing is much better than a standard pouch. And then if someone wants a very sort of high clarity pouch, we can make pouches which have PET in them. So they're generally, for like the stand-up pouches, they're generally made of a PET or PET, as some people call them. So, and actually more recently, Chris, we've been looking at these eco pouches, haven't we?
Yes, yeah. So many people are asking about sustainability nowadays. It's the key message that people are looking for.
Absolutely, and they look a lot different, don't they, from a sort of standard clear pouch, don't they?
They're clearly distinguishable.
Sort of a milky colour, aren't they? And that's because of the plant additives or the natural ingredients that go in to make this pouch. And these pouches are actually fully compostable, and we can make them to any size, can't we, as well? So that's pretty cool. And we're starting to stock a few of these sizes, and we've sold quite a lot recently, haven't we?
We have, definitely. There's been a lot of demand for them over the past few months.
Yeah, mainly to the sort of, I think the fish industry actually have been
definitely
popular.
Yeah, correct, yeah.
Excellent. So do you ever come across any sort of challenges with sort of vacuum pouches and customer queries, for example, when you're talking to people every day?
Yeah, we do actually. Yeah, certain questions would be, what is the sealing temperature that they need to use?
Oh yeah.
And with a lot of customers, they might have to have trial and error to get the right sealing temperature for the pouches that are being used. Obviously, the thicker the pouch, it might need a longer time or a higher temperature, and they have to experiment. And they ask those questions quite frequently, really, for us.
And we can provide samples to our customers, can't we?
We can. Any of the pouches we supply, we can provide samples, usually within 24 hours of an order being placed, if we've got them in stock.
Wow, that's pretty quick, isn't it? Really, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in terms of the technical side of things, we can give our customers the technical data sheets, can't we?
Yeah.
And we only use the BRC accredited manufacturers and suppliers, don't we?
Exactly.
So on these technical documents, it has the oxygen permeability, the water permeability, sealing temperatures, the thicknesses. Basically, it has everything, doesn't it?
It does, yes, everything they'll ever need.
We're very transparent, I feel, aren't we? And we provide that. And as you all know, we're not manufacturers. We buy from sort of importers, or we buy from factories over in Europe. And we'd always tell our customers, won't we, where we're having our pouches manufactured.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We provide all the details, all the data sheets as quickly as we can for them, just to ensure they're complying with all of the traceability and requirements that they may have to adhere to.
And do you get many inquiries these days for printed pouches?
We do, yes, certainly. So many people are looking at it as a way to stand out. It really makes their product stand out on the market, which is why they offer it so much. And we can do a huge range of different printing, be it on the plain pouches or one of the coloured options.
Oh, okay, that's cool. And when customers are asking for sort of printed pouches, what would you say is really important that we know as part of their inquiry?
I think some of the key questions that we try to ask is, A, what product's going into the pouch? B, do they have an example of their logo? C would be the print coverage that they're looking for on the pouch, because obviously it's a key question for us, just knowing how much of the pouch needs to be printed. And also, one other option that we really is helpful if we know it is the sort of quantity they're looking for and who they're supplying into, whether it's just a farm shop, whether it's going into supermarkets. There's quite a few questions that we could ask that really help us understand their requirements, really.
Yeah, I mean, because our customer base is so
diverse.
It's diverse, isn't it? Yeah, it's crazy. Oh, that's great. And what other sort of accessories can we supply to our customers that complement the vacuum pouches?
So in terms of the accessories, we obviously do the packing boards. So if it's a fish processor or a charcuterie company, we can provide with those boards. Again, gold and silver, black, white, different colour options that will complement their brand. And we also do the sleeves. So a lot of customers will want a sleeve for the pouch to go into.
Oh, okay.
Which again can be printed with the company's details on, their logos.
Just like a cardboard sleeve.
Yeah, just a cardboard sleeve for them to really give it that extra look.
Oh, excellent. That's really cool. Excellent. Well, thanks, Chris. That's been really useful to have you with me today. I know we see each other every day, but we don't get to spend that much time together, do we?
No, we're all busy serving customers, making sure we're giving them what they need on a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, thanks for watching today and listening. It's been really great to have you here, Chris, as I said. And I hope you've all learnt a lot about vacuum pouches today. I certainly have. Please visit us on the website. Don't forget to pick up the phone and talk to Chris as well about your vacuum pouch requirements. We're also contactable by email. Please don't forget to like and subscribe our YouTube videos and listen to us on Spotify. We look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.